After graduating high school, Mika Kozawa's top priority was to find a job with stable income to avoid turning out like her father. However, despite having taken a variety of civil service exams, she was faced with a harsh reality. Nearly every institute denied her entry. The only place that accepted her was a police academy, which she reluctantly joined. Every now and then, she's an actual police officer. That world continues to be cruel to Mai. Due to her profession, she's unexpectedly received constant criticism from her disgruntled citizens, disheartened by the hostile treatment that she decides to submit a letter of resignation after just a few months of deployment. But on the same day May chooses to quit, she meets Seko Fuji, the former ace of the Criminal Affairs Division, who is assigned as her new instructor. Finding her new co-worker to be enchanting, Mai delays leaving and gives her a inspiring job a second chance. This anime has about 13 episodes, premiered January 5th, 2022 to March 30th, 2022. Based on a popular manga series, it is comics, slice of life, themes are detective and workspace. Demographic is centered. Each episode is 20 minutes per episode, and it's rated PG-13. Now let's get started into the review. What I really like about this anime is besides taking a different course of, following people in their work jobs, especially anime, this takes place at the police department, especially about a girl who had no other choice but to take this job. And I feel with Police in a Pod, it's a very unusual show to begin with, but it's an interesting take following two women in this, silver story background as two women from different, times of the job economy are looked at, especially as Mai's full growth treatment of being a civil servant, like how she's not respected. But as soon as her new sergeant comes in, Sergeant Fuji, things start looking up for her. As you follow them through the members and their lives, they're routines of being part of the police force. Through very comedic effects and comedic relief, the show manages still to carry on a very serious tone when dealing with certain topics, aspects of police work that are very dark. These characters really tell their emotions throughout the story and the characters that they encounter, including this dark story that they encounter. And you find the characters very enjoyable. It's particularly once you are introduced to the wide range of cast and supporting actors that we are introduced to, and they are beginning to flesh out, and they're showing some real character development and depth. What I really like about it with the comedy was mostly on point for certain scenes to help lessen that darker tone that was dealt with, some of the cases that these characters did deal with, but it didn't drag the show down or slow down the pace. Rather, for the most part, it wrought it out even more. Even with the final episode, especially for me, like these characters and the comedy aspect helped give that very interesting look of a policeman and policewoman's life as they go through different cases that might bring their mood down, but she can certainly lift them back up when they realize they can help someone. Also, between the cast of this police anime, I think it's probably really interesting of seeing these characters spend their time, either writing speeding tickets or spending time in a little kindergarten, or just catching in Japan side catching underage smokers and teens who want to skip school. And for Maya in particular, even though she's a fresh new police officer straight from the academy, what her choices of joining this profession in the first place. She wanted to be like her dad, so she wanted to be like a silver service officer. And the only she was gonna do that was, she did try to work hard. She probably hated the work. She felt very uncomfortable when the people she's supposed to be protecting kind of insulted her for being a police officer. And when she's about to throw in a towel, here comes Sergeant Fuji, a former police person from the criminal investigative department. And she gets her this kind of tough love pep talk, and I think for her being her mentor, it kind of balances each other because they're more like a yin yang, and they kind of help each other, with their daily tasks of being policewomen, and kind of bring up their spirits with this work that's not really quite easy. But I think for Officer Mai and Fuji, they deal with a lot of sensitive issues, including very sensible topics of elder abuse, pedophilia, kidnapping, lost persons report. The police and the detectives on this show deal with a lot, but they also show a lot of respect and compassion for people they help, and the stories that kind of always end up on more a lighter note. There is a lot of sexism for policewomen in this anime, but the police department responds well in this anime, and they have very good work dynamic too for the policewomen and everyone in the police department that they work with all together. And I think Fuji was the right catalyst to push Mai not to quit, but also they help bring each other out the best in themselves and seeing how they can bond their friendship to a more of a stronger partnership. But definitely check out Police in a Pod if you haven't already, and let me know what you think. But until then, enjoy the anime, and I'll see y'all real soon for another great anime review. Until then, bye!